Going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, of course. How's NOSH Life treating you so far?
Yeah, no, it's always a great show, right? The quality
Yeah.
of it, the folks at the content is always amazing. It's always a little bit forward in the food industry, so it's fun to be a part of it for sure. Yeah.
So tell us first just what your position at 301 Inc. kind of entails.
Yeah, I'm the business development lead for 301 Inc. 301 Inc. is the venture arm of General Mills. So we have a kind of a two-tiered approach where we have a few members, including myself, that really do a lot of the business development, kind of the face of the 301 Inc. brand externally. And then we have a team that actually is really dedicated to actually helping our portfolio brands kind of optimize their business plan, their product, their offering and market and all that stuff. And all they do is hone in on just like, how do I create a better margin? How do I create a better product? How do I get innovation in the market quicker? So that's 301 Inc. and then kind of lead the business development piece of it. Yeah.
So when you're looking at a brand or a product, what is kind of compelling to you? What catches your eye? Especially talking about the Pitch Slam today, what stands out to you in terms of a brand? Yeah,
it's been interesting to watch just the. You gotta find a brand today. I think more than any that has the flexibility actually to maybe play in a few different categories, and you can kind of see where they're starting and where they're heading. Or the other piece of it is this journey that they're on. How are they being more thoughtful with their ingredient or their product, or what they're doing with the ingredients that are obviously going to be consumed by the consumers. And everybody had to raise their game, because it used to be a little bit more like, let's disrupt an old category, which is kind of an updated product, but in reality it's a lot deeper than that now. So it's kind of fun to see the evolution that's happening.
So what exactly are you looking for in a pitch today, and just in general? What makes a good pitch? Because I know a lot of these people today are a little nervous.
Yeah,
so What advice would you have?
Yeah, hopefully they feel as comfortable as they can and just be kind of authentic and share kind of their story, because you want to really hear the story and where it came from and what was the idea, what was the pain point in their life, or maybe in their family's life, or even what they saw in the market that was just a white space that they went after. So you really want to know almost the why. Why did they create it? Then you always want to think through, there's obviously competition that surrounds every one of these brands. What are they doing different? What's special about it? What's unique about it that they can really use as their growth lever as they compete in market? And then always, and probably really the first thing is actually we're kind of betting on the entrepreneur. So it's fun to listen to them, how organized they are on their business plan. What does their future plans look like? Are they realistic or not? From us seeing, plans or other businesses that are doing similar stuff, you can tell if things are a little wonky or not. But so once you see a few of those hit the mark, then you're like, all right, they're onto something. Yeah.
So when you're investing in a brand, how important is it to have a strong relationship with the entrepreneur, and how much does the entrepreneur play into whether or not you would want to invest?
Yeah, it's probably the number one thing for sure, right? It's not just compatibility, like can we work with them and can they work with us? I think it's more around, can they take feedback? Are they flexible enough to actually realize that the consumer might like their idea to start, but the learning they do in market, they might find out they gotta move in a different direction to actually be ultimately successful. And can not all entrepreneurs can actually flex once they kind of have their baby set, even though it's early days, right? And so when you see that someone is really listening to the consumer and listening to the changes that are going on in the market, and then adding that into their kind of thought or their thinking as they think about their future plans, that's a good asset. Yeah.
So flexibility is definitely important. Do you see it's hard for brands to kind of be flexible?
Early days you would say, that no one knows the brand, people are just learning the product, even price point on shelf, they can play with that quite a bit. But it's more around flexibility as external kind of competitive set chases you in different directions, right? And it could be the consumer's just taste and trends are changing. It could be a FDA requirement that changes an ingredient that they're working with, or whatever it might be. And you got to just be nimble enough to kind of work with some of those exterior forces that are pushing against you a little bit to make sure you're maneuvering quick enough to actually make sure your products actually stand on shelf, more than all the rest. So, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the brands you guys have invested in. I know we just had
sure.
Purely Elizabeth, on the stage. So
Love
what
her.
kind of?
She's here.
Yeah, she was great. So what kind of, as an example to the Pitch Slam people participating today, like what did she do right with you guys that caught your eye?
Yeah, I think for Elizabeth, it was her sincere understanding of how to create, I would say, a lifestyle brand. And it started with her roots of just coming from the health and wellness of her earlier career before she actually started the business there, where she really learned the needs of some folks from a nutritional standpoint and what those ingredients meant to your actually nutritional values that get processed through your body actually. And her technical knowledge in that space actually really helped her create products that really resonate with the consumers on the attributes. You can look at it from far away and go, it's a granola, but in reality, some of the ingredients and the hand selecting that she's doing there is for a lot of great reasons. And if you're a little bit smarter on the health and wellness side of it, you know why, and then it resonates with you, and then you buy it. And once you taste it, obviously, it's an amazing product.
Yeah.
And then her brand, she's just created this great halo brand that embodies everything she is and who she is. And there's not many brands that actually can do that, where you're actually living and breathing the brand. It's like the brand is really you.
So how important, we were just talking in that panel about, wellness and innovation and the functionality of all, like how important in that brand and just in general is like the innovation part of it, and how much is it innovating for innovating's sake, and how much is it like really important for wellness?
Yeah. Back to the evolution, I think, of the market, I think it's super important now. It's super important. One, consumers have easy access to a lot of information, right? So you have to make sure you're as smart, if not smarter, than most of the consumers that are eating your product, about your product. So you do have to, if you're not educated like she would be, it would be a good idea to know what each ingredient does, not just where it comes from, but also some of the micronutrient values that come with it. Just so you kind of anticipate certain trends and be like, all right, maybe I can leverage that as a growth idea for my brand, because I didn't realize I have a lot of amino acids, or I have a lot of vitamin C more than I originally thought. And as news comes out about different things and benefits, how do you leverage that to actually, really drive it back into your business and brand? And it really only comes to being very intimate with your product ingredients, but also the way it's processed and everything else, right? And she's done an amazing job at it. But that's a key now, where earlier I would say you could launch like a jerky brand and just kind of jump on the bandwagon a little bit, but now with it's always been coming, right? The information flow that goes back and forth between consumers and the companies, it just has to be crystal clear, but also you have to be just as smart as everybody else,
right?
On the products that you're making.
And she was also talking a lot about how the brand is accessible. Is that something that's important, especially in the wellness space and the Better For You brands, where people feel like maybe they don't really know how to like access the brand or like get into it and try it? Like, how important is that accessibility factor?
Yeah. I mean, we always talk about it as just the familiar form. If you can create things in familiar forms that people are used to eating and working in their daily lives, like snacking and like granola, but also now put a twist onto it, another health halo that she has on it as well. And to me, that just ultimately resonates with the consumers around. Like, I get it, I understand it, and now once they're a valued consumer, they're there for a while, right? So, yeah.
And we also heard Farmhouse Culture Talk, which you guys invested in as well. So, what were your favorite parts of that talk, and what kind of made Farmhouse Culture the right fit?
Yeah, once again, we look at consumer needs and kind of the larger trends that are happening in the food world, and gut health and probiotics obviously have been resonating for a long time, but it's been moving a little bit away from the pill form to the food form, to proactive nutrition and all that stuff, and gut health is a big piece. And we felt like Farmhouse Culture was a great natural way to get your probiotics.
Right.
It's naturally fermented, or wild fermentation happens obviously in the kraut and other things they do. And then the brand and the founder story there as well with Catherine Lucas. She's just a story on her own with cookbooks and other things that tie back to fermentation and just how it is great for your gut, but it also brings amazing flavor. Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have, but Pete, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
and,
thank
we'll
you.
See you
Appreciate
very
it.
soon on the Pitch Slam.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
I got to run over there, so good luck
all
with
right,
that.
Thanks
Have
a lot.
fun.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the video? For more from NOSH, hit subscribe and ding the bell.